Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose. It is Friday, so I hope everybody's ready for the weekend. Maybe play some good games or something like that. And actually, if you are, just go and let me know what you're going to play. I think for me, I'm going to go through some of the Bayonetta stuff before Bayonetta 3 later this month. I'm very much looking forward to that game. However, we do have a lot to go over today, including a few rumors for some big 2023 Xbox exclusives. Some rumors are starting to swirl right now on when we could possibly expect some of these games to release, though I think some of the skepticism is a little But then there's also a fascinating Steam Deck advertisement that, yes, reveals some very, very welcome news, but also they're seemingly targeting Nintendo fans in a bit of an unexpected way. I was a little surprised by this, so yeah, we're going to talk about that one as well. As always, though, just a little reminder on those buttons below. If you like these daily news updates, hit that like, kick that subscribe, and whack that bell as hard as you possibly can. Let's just go and dive right into the video, though, starting off with one of the most exciting and also one of the most speculated 2022 games being none other than God of War Ragnarok. You know, for a long time, fans were very skeptical if this game would actually release in 2022 or if it would just be delayed alongside the other bajillion games that's been pushed back. But they did finally give us a more official release date being November 9th. So we're about 1 month away by this point, but if there was still any doubt just whatsoever about its release, they did just announce today that Ragnarok has officially, yes, it has officially gone gold. So yeah, this is absolutely fantastic news. I mean, really, with games anymore, you never really 100% know when they'll release until they actually release. But when a game goes gold, that more often than not is pretty definitive. I can only really think of one time ever that a game got delayed after going gold, and that was Cyberpunk 2077. Now, looking back on things, I think we can kind of say now it probably needed yet another delay, and you really have to question why it ever went gold in the first place. That probably comes down to the management situation over there. But yeah, I seriously doubt that Ragnarok is in a similar situation here. So just go ahead and mark your calendars for November 9th. You can just put in your alerts or something, best day of the year or something like that. Seriously though, can't wait to play this game myself. That 2017 release, awesome game. I'm expecting Ragnarok to be yet another Game of the Year contender. Now, we also got an update for Far Cry 6 Game of the Year edition, I guess. Okay. But this did leak out online a week or so back. We did talk about it previously, and at the time I told you all, this is probably just going to be a re-release of sorts with all the Year 1 content and maybe an expansion for a better overall price. Well, apparently I don't know jack, because it's not what I was expecting at all. A retail listing has now hit the Xbox and PlayStation Store, and it includes quite a bit of stuff. We'll take a look at the summary here thanks to the Video Game Chronicle. But as you can see, it includes an all-new expansion, Lost Between Worlds, that's coming sometime soon. Then it includes all Season Pass content, the full Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon Classic Edition game, okay. Then there's also the Ultimate Pack, and then you can enjoy all free game updates. So that's quite a bit of stuff, but even then, this is the part that really surprised me here, because this new quote-unquote Game of the Year edition is going for $120. Now, if you already own Far Cry 6, you can also pay $60 to upgrade instead, which means essentially you're not getting that better price that I thought they'd go for. I thought that would be the logical way. I mean, it's not like this was the best reviewed game in the world. I mean, somehow it got Game of the Year, but you know, whatever. But instead, it looks like they're trying to sell its new expansion for an entirely new $60 game. I mean, I guess they can try. And to be fair, there are some other things here as well, such as Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, but that is an older game. I'm not really even sure why it's included in this bundle. I guess they're just really trying to justify that price tag. However, beyond all that, and the big question still remains, who in the world gave Far Cry 6 Game of the Year? I still really want to know that, because that part does confuse me. But I guess these publishers, they can just throw that mantra on any game by this point in the hopes to give it better marketing. And I think that's really what's happening here. Far Cry 6 Game of the Year edition, though, if this is something that you're interested in, or if you just want that new expansion, well, it's happening. Now also, an interesting canceled project did make its way online thanks to IGN, and this is really one of those situations of what could have been. I know after I saw this, I was very, very disappointed. But basically what's happening here is that EA Yeah, EA. They did cancel an ambitious Plants vs. Zombies game back in 2016 that was going to take the franchise into an entirely new direction. There's actually alpha footage of this project, codenamed Hot Tub. I'm going to leave a link in the description below if you want to check it out yourself. But it was a story-driven action-adventure game where you play as a boy and a girl as well, actually, and they partner up with all the different plants to use different abilities. It actually looks really good, and the way it was described was that it was meant to be an open corridor progression game, similar to something like Uncharted, the combat akin to something like Batman Arkham Knight, and then it has that family-friendly vibe of a Ratchet & Clank. Again, it actually looks really, really promising, but unfortunately after they pitched it to EA's upper management, well, it got canceled. Here's the catch, though. It did not get canceled because it looked bad. On the contrary, as I just said before, everything looked great and the team was very confident about this project. But EA, they decided to cancel it because they wanted this team to shift over to another project that they themselves deemed more important, being Visceral's Star Wars game. Which, oh, by the way, that also got canceled a year later. Yeah, this is pretty much just EA making some mistakes here. But what I think is just so sad about this entire situation is that this passion project never got a real chance despite it looking really good. And EA, even after they canceled Visceral's Star Wars game, they never put these developers back on that project, which I think just makes all of this way worse. Instead, what EA did is they split them up across several studios. This actually kind of reminds me of what Activision is doing right now with Vicarious Visions. Regardless, I do recommend watching the IGN video. It is very interesting, and as a fan of the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare games myself, I really would have loved this game here. Speaking of something that's very interesting, maybe even a little unexpected in this situation, but Valve, they did just release a new Steam Deck trailer, which kind of goes over some new additions and some different updates in terms of software and things like that. They are now releasing its docking station, which goes for $89, so you can pick that up if you want to. They also revealed its new software update, which includes new features for image scaling, resolution, as well as refresh rate. They even redesigned and improved things like remapping your controls while in-game, and really they just continue to prove that they are putting a real commitment into the Steam Deck, as they absolutely should. They did recently sell more than 1 million units worldwide in totality, which is actually a very big milestone. I mean, you have to think, this is a device that is viewed as a little bit more niche, and it's not coming from one of the big three, being Nintendo, Xbox, or PlayStation. So to see Valve sell 1 million consoles in its first year, that's actually very successful, and they have to be thrilled with that number, which will continue to climb as time goes on, especially now that they just announced that you no longer have to reserve the Steam Deck. Yes, that was the big new announcement in this trailer, as you can now purchase it right through Steam Store, and who knows, maybe now that these are a little bit more readily available, you don't have to reserve them anymore, maybe they can also get this in retail stores like GameStop, Best Buy, etc., sometime here soon. That would be huge if they could do something like that, because then they'd be exposing it to more of that mass market. Now, we'll see about all of that, but there was actually something a little sneaky about this new trailer, and this is what I wanted to talk about, because it was spotted that one of the icons shown in their official video was none other than Yuzu. Now, if you don't know what Yuzu is, and why this is so significant is because Yuzu is actually a Nintendo Switch emulator, and that emulator is now in an official Valve-produced trailer. Now, it's only for a brief second, and there is a chance that maybe this was by accident. We can't really rule that out. But one of the better things about the Steam Deck is that it is a great emulation machine, and a lot of people do buy it for that exact reason. And from everything that I've seen, it does emulate Nintendo Switch games quite well. So this could maybe be a coy, humble brag by Valve saying, yeah, we can run Switch games on this device. And while marketing that might be questionable, emulation itself is not necessarily illegal. It's how you get your games. That's kind of the questionable part, the more problematic part. But again, emulation itself is not illegal. So Nintendo can't really do anything about this situation, but it has created a bit of a discussion for sure. I still wonder if maybe Valve just did this by accident. Again, this was only for like a brief second in a trailer, but either way, it's definitely interesting seeing I guess you could say, morally questionable emulator in an official Valve trailer. Let me know what you think about all of this, though. Do you think it was by accident, or do you think it was on purpose? Let me know. Let's go and talk about some of those Xbox rumors running around right now, and this is in regards to Redfall and Starfield. Now, I first want to talk about Redfall because I think this seems a little more likely. I'll explain why here in just a moment. But a new claimed leak did make its way online, revealing a possible release date. This is coming from Okami Games, which reportedly has leaked accurate information in the past. Of course, still take this with a grain of salt, but they do claim that Redfall is looking to release at the end of March of 2023. Now, this is actually believable to an extent, because Xbox has already stated that Redfall will release in the first half of 2023. So March being a popular month to release games in, and it's also not overly crowded as of this moment, that would be a good month to release a game like this in. I think that all does line up. The only problem that I have with March, though, is that Ghostwire Tokyo's timed exclusivity for PlayStation. That should theoretically end on March 25th as well. Now, we just saw last month with Deathloop, as soon as that timed exclusive contract ended with PlayStation, well, Xbox, they made an admission to release it on Xbox right away. They didn't wait around or anything like that. So I do wonder if they would do the same with Ghostwire Tokyo. Are they going to release this as soon as they possibly can on Xbox? It's not really as popular as Deathloop, so they might be more willing to have a small wait, but I think that would be a peculiar strategy to release both Ghostwire Tokyo and Redfall within the same month. That could make things just a little too crowded. But then again, Xbox also released Deathloop and Grounded 1.0 in like a week span from one another. So who really knows? But I think that the better direction to take here is for Redfall to drop in March, and then in April, then they can maybe release Ghostwire Tokyo as well, or vice versa. You could have Redfall in April and Ghostwire Tokyo in March. I think either would work here. I think that would make sense, and that would make for 2 big consecutive months in a row with big day one Xbox Game Pass titles. Either way, though, I do really think Redfall looks exceptional so far. I mean, just look at this game. Of course, it is an Arcane game, and you know, historically, they've made fantastic games. So, yeah, I'm very impressed with what they've shown so far on Redfall. Now, the other big Xbox exclusive, and this is the one that everybody's just kind of waiting for, of course, that being Starfield. This is Bethesda's next big IP, the same studio that brought us The Elder Scrolls, the same studio that brought us Fallout. Yes, there's a lot of excitement for this game. It is a huge, massive release for Xbox next year. Of course, though, this game is also supposedly set to release in the first half of 2023 after, of course, they delayed it from this year. But when exactly is the question? Well, a new rumor did pop up online, which really is very speculative. But yes, seemingly there's some speculation out there that Starfield will be delayed once again. Now hold on, don't worry quite just yet, I'll explain why. But basically what's happening here is that it's been spotted that in Steam database, Starfield's release date has been updated from November 11th all the way to December 9th of 2023. So this here has caused some discussion online that maybe, just maybe, Starfield won't release in the first half of 2023 after all. Maybe it has been delayed yet again. Now I will say, realistically, I could actually see a scenario where Starfield is pushed to the holiday. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but I could see a possible scenario like that because big publishers, they do like to release their biggest games during that holiday period, and this could give Bethesda even more time to really maximize this game's potential. But, however, I do not look at the Steam database update as any kind of indication to a delay or anything like that. This is actually probably, more than likely, just a simple placeholder. Obviously, Starfield's not releasing on November 11th of this year. That was its original release date, but not anymore. So there's no real reason to keep that date on the database. So they probably just updated it with a placeholder here until they're ready to officially announce a more concrete release date. I think that's actually what's happening here. So if you do see these reports running around, yeah, I wouldn't really look into them too much as of this moment. With that said, I do wonder when Bethesda plans to announce release dates for Starfield and Redfall. If both of these games are still planned to release in the first half of 2023, the next big showcase is the Game Awards, so maybe we could get some more information possibly there. Let's just go take a look at the poll of the day, though, and yesterday we did get that Mario movie reveal. Instead of just hearing my reaction, I also wanted to hear your all's reaction to this, so I asked you all, what do you think of the new Mario movie trailer? And as you can see here, 52% of you said that it looks great, 30% of you said it looks just okay, and 7% of you said it looks bad. I'm a little surprised that anybody said it looks bad at all, because I think that this looks absolutely fantastic. Honestly, the animation, the visuals itself, I mean, it just looks stunning in motion. I mean, I did not go into this reveal expecting to be impressed, like, at all. But I left thinking, wow, Nintendo, they might actually be able to pull this off. This could turn out to be a great movie next year when it does release. It seems to have good humor to it. I really liked what the penguins were doing versus Bowser. Bowser himself seems very menacing. And then it has just that magical and creative Nintendo charm to it. Really, the only big question now, and this is the concern I've seen pretty much all over the place, is with the voice itself, or more specifically, the voice of Mario. Of course, we already knew that Chris Pratt is voicing Mario in this movie, so everybody was kind of curious if he could actually deliver a Mario-esque voice. And well, from the trailer here, it doesn't really seem like he added too much of an accent, which didn't really help the concern here. But at the same time, the movie will have Mario talking much more than the game, so having a more subtle accent might work better in terms of just overall storytelling. Of course, Mario doesn't really talk in long, lengthy conversations in the game, so a little bit of a different situation here, but I do understand the questions of the casting here. Maybe they could have found a different person that could have possibly fit the role better. But I think the overall voiceovers, I thought they sounded pretty good. Jack Black, he did a good job with Bowser in the trailer, and I also thought Toad was pretty good as well. So we'll kind of see how all of that works out as we start to hear them more going forward. But let's just go and take a look at some of your all's comments here. Again, a lot of the comments did seem to find Chris Pratt's Mario to be jarring, but I thought Carsville made a pretty good point here, where they say, when I was 13, I got the original NES as a gift. It came with Super Mario Brothers, so I've been a fan for roughly 35 years. That being said, my 10-year-old son loved the trailer and couldn't have cared less who was doing the voice. So I guess it doesn't matter what I and the rest of the man babies think. LOL. The kids will make or break this movie. Flame on. And I thought that was actually a pretty well said and good made point. And considering just how good the animation looks, it really could turn out to be a major hit with kids. I showed our kid as well, and she seemed to have really liked what she had saw. Yeah, the voices, as many of you all point out, might take some getting used to, but I think that this was a good first showing, and the results from you all really shows that as well, with 52% of you saying that it looks great. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.